What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So I've been getting asked, even though we've got some content across the channel, people want updates, and I get it. There's some things that have changed for the topic. So I've got 5 of the most powerful cheap fragrances in my collection. Some of these are clone and stuff. Some of these are original with kind of elements of other things, but I mean, that's most fragrances these days, right? These are just like ridiculous. I don't spray them much when I spray them because I don't need to. These are like 3 to 5, and I mean 5 is pushing it. Spray fragrances, super long lasting, crazy strong projection, intense sillage. This is how they are on me. There's no guarantee that'll be that way on you. These are the 5 though. Stay tuned. Lots of love and praise for this fragrance. It just came out recently. It's already affordable in that $40 to $50 range. Rasasi Hawas Black. This stuff is as advertised. This is very much in the vein of Hachivat. Super fruity, citric at the top. A dry, woody green cedarwood oak moss combination. It's not all that spicy. There's a little bit of spice. And I don't really get any smokiness from this one. So there's some slight subtle differences from things like Afnan Supremacy, not only intense, but that's loaded with black currant. You get no black currant here. Not the same kind of fruitiness. And that's a smoky type of oak moss. Hachivat's a bit spicier, I find, of an oak moss. But still relatable to Hachivat. But man, this stuff is like, it doesn't need to be this strong. Some of you are like, oh, don't say that. It needs to be as strong as possible. Good for you, because this stuff is like, smells great. Quality is actually really good. For being a Hawas fragrance, which they're typically pretty chemically synthetic, it's nice and smooth and rich and enjoyable, uber masculine. Hype's real on this one. I really believe the hype is justified. Might be redundant in your collection, so if you have a lot of Hachivat type stuff or Aventus-esque type DNAs, might be some redundancy going on there, so be wary of that. But if you're looking for an absolute monster that smells great, it's really good quality, it's cheap, check out Hawas Black. Now, I've had people tell me that they don't get this kind of performance, that it's gone in 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, and I can promise you it is nose fatigue, because this stuff is outrageous. Outrageous. Fills this apartment easily with 2 to 3 sprays. It is Lattafa's Atlas. This is a saltwater aquatic green oak moss, another oak moss fragrance. Bomb. Just intensely salty. I had somebody tell me to get no salt from this either. I think they were trolling me. There's just no way. No way in hell. They're getting no salt. I think they were trolling me, because this is like a handful of salt. Like, you know, it's like it's just the smell of the Gulf of Mexico. Now intensify that, because that's salt water. Intensify that tenfold and add this dry green oak moss element, because that's the 2 main things I get from it. And you get this. It may not sound inviting the way I'm describing it, but it actually smells great. It's just so powerful. I mean, crazy powerful. Smells in the vein of Orto Parisi Mega Mare. Not 1-to-1, but it's actually, for as powerful as it is and as cheap as it is in that $35 range, it's not that bad as far as being sharp and over-the-top synthetic. It's much smoother than something like a Chaos in the Ocean Paris Corner, which is of the same profile. That smells great, but that does come across a bit more sharp, harsh, and synthetic, whereas the harshness here is so over-the-top powerful. So if you're looking for a nuclear, and I mean like ridiculous, nuclear monster of a fragrance for cheap, check out Lattafa Atlas. Now, I'm a fan of this one. Now, the house is full of beast mode fragrances, but I think the most invitable, enjoyable, hype-worthy from Dumont is Nitro Red. This is Watermelon Invictus to me. I don't care what anybody else says. That's what it is to me. It smells like a watermelon Jolly Rancher, melted and stirred into a bottle of Paco Rabanne's Invictus. I get the fruitiness. I don't get a lot of the spice of Hawas, but it's in that family, Invictus, Rasasi, Hawas, stuff like that. Playful, fun, fruity, sweet, aquatic, hard not to like. Hard not to like, in my opinion, and just way stronger than it needs to be. I love the way these smell, by the way. I'm sure you can tell I keep pulling the cap and smelling them. They're a true delight, because that's the most important thing to me. That's great if they're nuclear monster performers, but do they smell good? Do I enjoy wearing them? That's check box number 1 on the checklist of what makes a great fragrance to me, and that's what makes this a great fragrance. Just an added bonus that it's really strong. You don't need to spray much, so a bottle's going to go a lot further for you. Again, that's Dumont's Nitro Red. Now with these last two, you'll hear all reformulated, batch code, older bottles. Don't mind that kind of stuff. Goes back to nose fatigue again. I'm not saying reformulations don't happen, but they're not just sitting there looking at a formula and just dumping water into it. It doesn't work that way. We're talking about Afnan's 9 p.m. The smoother take on Jean Paul Gaultier's Ultra Male. That is an absolute monster in my experience. It's fruity apple, spicy cinnamon, vanillic sweetness, tonka bean, all these different things. It smells so good. It really does. I think it's superior. It is superior to Ultra Male in my opinion. This is a sub $30 fragrance that gives you way more than sub $30 performance and bang for your buck. It smells great. It's smooth. Afnan does have some pretty good oil qualities with what they use, and I've raved about this one for years on this channel. I do maybe 2 sprays when I do wear it, because it's not often, because it's so intensely strong and sweet. But when it comes to sweet fragrances, it's one of the better smelling sweet fragrances out there. So you'll hear a lot of really good things, and you'll hear some naysay. That happens when something's hype. So try it for yourself. Be your own judge. But for me, this is an absolute monster. It's Afnan 9 p.m. And last but not least, a TikTok darling from what is basically what it's known as these days. And yeah, it gets a lot of love here on YouTube as well, because not the same content. Just saying, TikTok and YouTube, not exactly the exact same formats, and there's overlap in audience, but not exactly the same audiences either. But the consensus on both sides is a lot of people like Lattafa Asad. In the vein of Sauvage Elixir, has a few different elements, some fruitiness, pineapple, things like that. They list iris. I don't smell any florals or get loads of powder. I don't get a distinctive iris smell. There's a roasted coffee bean note that I do get a little bit of that. And that's the subtleties that I find give a slight difference to Sauvage Elixir. This isn't a 1-to-1 clone of it. It's definitely inspired by it. And I would say it's every bit of like 80% of that profile. And it's a really damn good performer. Not a great summer fragrance, but now that we're moving into the autumn season, on into the winter, it is that time when Asad will shine. So if you want to get something great, strong, masculine, very spicy and woodsy, man, this is really good. It does smell really good for way less than 30 bucks. You can get this one like low 20s at this point. And it's a monster. It's Lattafa Asad. Well, that was a quick 5 of the strongest, most powerful, affordable fragrances in my collection. Is it the only 5? No, but this is the first 5 that came to mind when I wanted to do this video. Sorry, the lighting just dropped. I'm trying to use a lot more, and it's raising. Using a lot more natural lighting these days instead of just soft light boxes and stuff so much. Because when the light would stay consistent, if it stayed consistent for a minute, natural lighting is always the best route to go. So thank you guys for watching. There's links down below if you want to check any of these fragrances out. Blind buy with caution. It's not the best practice, but I get it. I do it all the time. I'm not encouraging you to do it. I blind buy so you don't have to. But if you're going to do it, try to do it responsibly. Thank you guys for watching. You have a good one.